Hi everyone. My name is Tenzin Rabyung, and we are going to talk about financial aid and scholarships. There is a document posted to this that will give you just the minutes of this, and you can just skip ahead to the parts that you are interested in learning more about. Um, but you could also just watch this in 2 times speed so we can get through it faster. I'll try to talk fast too. But yeah, all right, let's get started. So we're going to be covering the financial aid timeline, one that you could consider using, um, the appeal process. In the case that you get a financial aid package that you think isn't representative of your family's financial situation, you can absolutely appeal it. You can absolutely ask for more money from the school and scholarships. So let's get started. Okay, so right now, what you can be doing to get ready is you can organize your parents or your parent and their and your own like personal like tax returns. So do it for the 2022 fiscal year. So uh yeah, like it seems a little like weird to consider 2022, but it's just because places like FAFSA and CSS want both or want like a full like fiscal year that's been set in stone. And if you did, for example, 2023, there might be some or wait, it's still it's 2023, so that's why they're asking for 2022. My bad. But yeah, so get the tax returns. So that's the 1040 form, the W-2 forms. So that includes like the I guess like tax. Oh, hello, Gishan? Gishan? Okay. I'm recording this right now. And you'll be able to see it later too. I haven't started anything yet, but we're just going over or like, okay, I'm just recording like what like the slides are right now. You'll be able to rewatch it. Okay. Anyways, yeah, so just get the tax returns, the W-2 forms, any savings and bank balances as you're closer to like applying for like FAFSA or CSS. We'll talk about when that is. Um, and I know I said complete the FAFSA form as soon as possible, but you might have heard October 1st as like the date to submit that, but now it's sometime in December apparently. They haven't like said the exact date, but as soon as December hits, make sure you look at FAFSA. FAFSA is oh, FAFSA is how you get what's it called? Federal funding for like or federal financial aid. I think someone else. Okay. Sorry. Um, yeah. So FAFSA is how you get federal funding to go attend college. But there have been changes that have been made. We'll talk about what they are. And if you're applying to a private school or a private institution that doesn't use federal funding as like the primary source to like I guess like fund or provide financial aid, you will need to complete the CSS profile very likely, and it's through the College Board. And like it has like a separate process, and I think it's open now if you want to look at that. And there are walkthroughs for both the FAFSA and or yeah, the FAFSA and the CSS forms. And yeah, so you can just look at it there. The slides will be posted all in like the same place in the Google Drive. And after you finish the CSS profile, you'll need to complete the IDoc. It's basically so that institutions get like a physical like scan or like a scan of your financial aid documents that you're submitting for verification purposes, sorry. And yeah, it seems like a lot of extra steps, a lot of hidden ones. I certainly didn't know anything besides FAFSA until I got an email that was like, oh, like, are you applying like private? You'll need to fill out the CSS profile. And it's really stupid that you have to, um, I guess, like pay to get um, financial aid. But for the CSS profile, at least, like you do need to pay in order to get your um, like application to get financial aid like processed, and you'll have to pay $16 per additional college if your family income is higher than $100,000 a year. Um, but there are ways to get waivers through individual colleges. There's one through Yale, for example. But you can also talk to your like college counselor or guidance counselor to talk about ways to get this waived, as they're more knowledgeable about that. You can also look at it online to see if the college that you're trying to apply to has those waivers. Yeah, it really doesn't make a whole lot of sense to ask for you to pay in order to get considered to get financial aid. Like it's such a weird thing, but yeah. Um, Moving on. So changes to the FAFSA form this year. The FAFSA is now opening in December. The exact date we don't know for some reason. Because I don't know. Like I tried looking at it, but I'm gonna assume it's December 1st. Before you might have heard October 1st. And some important changes. So the expected family contribution, so EFC, so that's like the number that would be attached with like, the summary of I guess like I or like to backtrack, like so after FAFSA receives all your family's like financial documents, they'll calculate something called an EFC, the expected family contribution, as like the summary of all of your financial aid like information to kind of be this is like what we think your family could reasonably um afford to pay for college, and then the colleges make that consideration further. But that number hasn't always translated to exactly how much aid that you get from institutions. So I guess to in an effort to change that and make it less misleading, they changed it to the student aid index, and it's just so that the number you see is exactly or very close to what like financial aid you'll receive. Obviously, it depends on if you're applying to public or receiving financial aid from public institutions where they're relying on federal funding, versus private institutions that have that can use FAFSA's number to kind of figure out how much money to like provide for your education, but they also have access to more private funding to like give better scholarships. Like that's like a big misconception that like public institutions are cheaper than private ones. Just like you hear private school and you think it's gonna be like super expensive, and it's not that it's not super expensive because it is. It's just that they are more able to provide, for example, like comprehensive scholarships, meet more of your demonstrated like financial aid needs. I know for me, like at least like I was looking at the University of Connecticut because they had really good scholarships. And I thought like the public like route would be cheaper for my family, but Yale, for example, has or has, and also like the other private schools that I applied to like gave me a similar financial aid package, but they were ultimately more affordable than my public options. So definitely something to think about as you're like now finalizing your college list and sending out your essays and your applications. And yeah, and FAFSA now asks 36 questions instead of 108 to figure out your financial aid eligibility. Siblings attending college are not considered now in I guess like now the student aid index, because before, right, like so I have a sister in college, and before they would count her into factoring how much like EFC like I like or how much like my parents or my family could contribute towards my education. And now they got rid of that consideration, and now it's more so, but okay, yes, they got rid of that consideration, but now they're more so thinking about how many dependents are under a family income, or yeah, like how many dependents rely on like a on the family income. So it's not just siblings that they're factoring into this. And this is for FAFSA. So the CSS profile still asks about how many siblings you have attending college, and private institutions may like factor that differently than like public ones. And another like thing is that more aid is available to single parents, because now like the consideration to get the maximum Pell Grant, so that's like money that's given to like finance like your education, um, has been increased. So like you can get more money, but also like the qualification to qualify for like the minimum Pell Grant funding is has been like expanded. So like you like it's basically providing more aid to single parents. And there's income protection allowance. So what that means is if you're right at the border between getting Pell Grant and not, like any excess income, like there's a limit, I forgot what it is, but they will not consider that, and they'll still like provide the Pell Grant funding. And yeah, so the CSS profiles, that's through the College Board, and it's what you'll need to like also fill out if you're applying to private institutions. We'll still ask how many children attend college at the same time in determining aid packages. And then okay, all right, and then so fall semester, you can keep track of your financial aid deadlines for each of your schools. So if you have submitted your financial aid document to like, or oh my God, I'm sorry. If you submitted your application to a college, you'll get a portal where you can, look at admissions checklists. So they'll say like, oh, have we gotten your transcript? Have we gotten your letters? Have we gotten your application? And you can see the active status, and they'll say received or not. There's usually one for financial aid checklist as well to kind of make sure that um, like that they receive the documents that you're sending in, as well as like yeah, so like for example, like CSS imaging and documentation services, so that's IDoc, and that's just showing that like in my case like Yale like saw it. Um, yeah, so you just keep track of financial aid deadlines for your schools, and you check like looking online. This is on Yale's financial aid like website. So QB is for November 5th, early action November 19th, regular decision is February 25th, and this is the deadline that you'll need to submit your financial aid like document or your financial aid application by. Um, I did not send in my financial aid document to Yale like on time and on November 19th for whatever reason, and I had to submit it late, and I had to wait until like February, or no, I had to wait until like January to hear back. So like that was definitely not something I recommend. Um, Whereas for the spring of your senior year, so if you submit your financial aid document on time, you will receive like your first financial aid awards along with your decisions. And this is the time when you really should, but I encourage like having them now. But have conversations with your family about college attendance. So like asking them, the hard questions of are they willing to support you, and how much they can afford to contribute towards your education, and if they are willing to take out loans for your education, or at least co-signing so that you can take out loans for your education. And if not, and you don't qualify to file as an independent student for FAFSA, it's hyperlinked on like the actual presentation that I'll share with you all. But if you don't fit any of these qualifications, you will still need a custodial parent's information to qualify for almost every type of financial aid, which is just really unfortunate. Um, yeah, so like and I say that's unfortunate because like if you don't have the best relationship with your parent, but you aren't an independent student, you will still need to talk to them to get them to help you apply for financial aid, even if they're not paying for it for your education. Okay, and now we're just going to cover how to interpret financial aid offers. So, um, yeah, this is just an example one, but we're going to talk about terms such as what direct or billed costs are, what indirect and anticipated costs are, scholarship grants, loans, work study, gift aid, subsidized versus unsubsidized. So to start, so direct and billed costs are the ones that you'll be paying out of your pocket to go to um, like that school. Um, but that's or like okay, backtracking, sorry. So like the direct ones are the ones that like the university is like charging you your family like for that service or like for that like fee. But that's subtracted by how much money you get in scholarships. So that could be based on your family's financial status. It could be on your merit. So like if you had good test scores, if you have good grades, or you applied to a scholarship through like an application at the school, that number would be subtracted from your direct bill. And there's also grants that you could get. So there's like gift aid as well. So that's like aid that you get through the university that they don't expect you to pay back. Um, and there's loans you can take out, and there's work study, right? So all of these together, scholarships, grants, loans, work study, and gift aid are subtracted from the direct billed cost. And yeah, so that would be the number you're actually like getting. Um, and yeah. And then like indirect or anticipated costs are informal charges. They're like BS numbers. It's like scary to see like a tacked on like, oh, by the way, like here's an indirect bill of $3,700, right? But it's just like money that they think that or the university thinks that you should have like saved in order to afford like textbooks, for example, food, and personal expenses like while you're on campus. So it's like it's called indirect because it's not like actually formal bills that you're getting. Um so yeah, so like I guess wait, where is it? Okay. So costs for the 2022 to 2023 school year, so this is just an example. If you got like a direct or build cost of $45,000, which is terrifying, and then you see that like the indirect anticipated cost is $2,500. You see that the cost of attendance is $47,500, and that's super scary. But then that's when you have to consider, okay, with your aid, for example, a loan, that's 900 and or $9,200. And then if you get your aid and a loan, that's $1,000 700 or $1,700 family contribution. So like all of that, right? Subtracted from like the actual number that you started with becomes 3,000 or $35,800 that your family would be expected to pay to like um for you to attend that semester or year. So obviously there's a big difference between $47,500 and $35,800. Um yeah, but wait, hold on. What? Oh, okay, okay. Okay. All right, I got it. Okay. So like you this is how you okay. All right, I'm sorry about that. So to interpret like your financial aid offer, you will usually see like what your as like offers of assistance are so that you can get dean scholarships, there's university grants, there's the federal Pell Grant, there's other federal grants, and there's loans, and then there's work study, right? So all of that, all of the yellow, and we'll talk about why all of it's in yellow first and why the loans are in blue. But yeah, so all of those are like the or I guess like everything that's highlighted together is what makes up your financial aid. So if you get 43,000 300 dollars of like aid, and you subtract it from I guess like the direct costs minus everything else, that brings your um total to $9,300 that you would have to pay to attend that university. Obviously, like when you're getting your financial aid documents, like you aren't alone in this process. You have your mentors to talk to, your Rokpa mentor to talk to kind of make sense of your financial aid document. Just because we've had to work with, like it's not like a one time you apply senior year and you don't think about it again. You have to apply every year. So we're very familiar with the process. So we'll be able to help you like make the process a little less scary. Um, yeah, so I highlighted the yellow like things because these are all things that you're getting in scholarships and you aren't required to pay back. So like if there's a scholarship, if it's a grant, if it's work study, it's things that is given to you. Except, I mean, work study, you're like working to get that money to pay for your education, but it's not things that will be like loans, for example. So all the blue ones, if it's like a federal subsidized loan, if it's yes, there's like the different types of loans, but very quickly, so like subsidized means that like the basically while you're in school, your like interest won't be added onto your loan, like it'll stay set until you're out of university. But if it's unsubsidized, it means that like there will be interest that accrues each year, making that loan like more and more expensive to pay off in the future while you are getting that money to pay in the meantime to like finance your education. So I like if you can avoid unsubsidized loans, like I highly recommend it, but if it's what you have to do in order to like go through like a semester of college or a year of college, like then absolutely take it if it makes sense for you and your family or yourself. But yeah, okay, moving on. So appeal process. So we'll talk about this really quickly. So to appeal, so there's so some reasons are if there's like a substantial decrease in your family income or unemployment in your family, uh, and okay, this says this is a little outdated. So if there's anything that's happening currently, right? So like in the 2023 fiscal year, because you're submitting old info, that's a year old, right? So 2022 information to colleges. And a lot can happen within that time that you're getting that whole year. And there's like that or like the year that we're still in. So it's just like so much can happen. Like there could be divorce or separation of parents, God forbid, like a death in the family, substantial medical or dental expenses, or any changes in your dependency status. So if you, filed for legal emancipation based on your home life, like all of that, all these things that can happen, right? Like because life happens. Um, you can appeal because like the whatever number you get back, whatever number the colleges spit back at you, like after you send in your 2022 fiscal year information, like the old one, you can be like yes, like that would be helpful for that year, but this year like this like X, Y, and Z happened, right? So how to start that process is you call financial aid office to describe your situation and see if you have like a case that they're willing to work with. If they say no, I say apply anyways because like my financial aid office tried to tell me that I didn't have a situation where I could, but then I did end up having a reason why I could. So be your own advocate. It really sucks, but you really do have to be your own advocate. And also your Rokpa mentor is here. So like if you are worried about a financial aid bill and you need help appealing, just talk to your mentor about like getting help with that. If they can't help you personally, um, Rokwa has so many people that are able to. I certainly can help you like appeal. But yeah, so feel free to or like okay, so you call and then you can look for college specific financial aid appeal processes or forms. So I know for me I looked at like Yale like financial aid appeal, and then there's like an entire website dedicated to that. And then you write the financial aid appeal letter and you submit proper documentation. So you do your most recent tax return, so 2023 as opposed to 2022. Tax returns, W-2 forms, and there's projected incomes that you can get from your tax returns, medical billing statements, for example, or anything else to um, like add numbers to whatever reason that you're providing, right? So if you're saying that um, there's like unemployment in your family, and that's why you think you need more financial aid. Provide, for example, the severance package that your like family member was given to like kind of show that evidence for, hey, like this really did happen, and I need like this extra support. And that's how, and I guess like that's just what's legible to like financial aid offices. And then you just check in like call and bother the hell out of them until they like send in your appeal status. I had to like call them like every like week, like every Friday. I was just like, hey, like, have y'all looked at it, right? Because it was just something I was thinking about a lot. And this would be more so done in the spring if you get in early anywhere. You can also do it like during the winter, of course. And there's obviously less demand with that. So you'll get a response back sooner. And then you just review your revised financial aid package, and you can still reappeal if you have more information that you think they haven't considered. So yeah, okay. So this is kind of my experience, but the rundown is like, I sent in my 2020 tax returns, and obviously between 2020 and 2021, a lot happened. Like the pandemic started, like there's just so much happened within my family that I just saw like $30,000 a year, and I was like, what the hell? Like that just doesn't make sense for like myself or my family. So then in February, I was like, okay, I need to get my 2021 tax returns, my W-2 forms, my own and my parents, my projected family income, and my sister and my mom's tuition statements. So anything that shows like, hey, like there's so much more that you didn't consider. And then yeah, so that's kind of what I did. And then I was trying to be strategic with my initial financial aid appeal letter. I submitted to. But basically, the format I think is great is so you say thank you, like for the aid that they've already provided, but then add that you really believe that the aid that or the evaluation that they made of your family's financial ability to pay for college is no longer um like valid based on your like recent changes to family income. Like that's what's most legible to financial aid offices. And then you provided examples for anything that could account for the differences between the year-old family financial aid document that you provided and the most current, so 2021 in my case. So I provided unemployment documentation, tuition statements, um, and just like summaries of what those documents meant. So I like said, for example, like between these 2 years, like there was a X $1,000 difference in my family's income. In addition, my sister and my mom are both in school, and therefore that like adds extra burden to my family's ability to actually pay for college that you didn't consider when you first like made the evaluation to like figure out my financial aid. So definitely do that. And then end off with gratitude. Say like I kind of guilt tripped them. I was like, thank you so much for like supporting my education, and I am so excited to be like a student like at Yale. But like I hope we can work together to make it affordable for me. And I don't know if that was really necessary, but I just like kind of sandwiched like the thank you and thank you again, and like I sandwiched it in between like y'all suck and didn't really like do a great job of figuring out my financial aid. Um, but anyways, uh, yeah, okay, so that happened. So I sent in my financial aid appeal letter to Yale, and I also updated my other schools. So definitely, right? If you're applying early and you get your financial aid document first from your school, and they're giving you a number that you don't think is very very like um true to your family's financial situation, update your other schools that you apply to, right? So it's like they will also want to know that like a lot did happen, a lot did change, and because many institutions like have the same format for financial aid appeal letters, it's just a matter of changing the name on the document, sending in the extra documents to those universities, and they'll give you more aid back, right? And then and then in April, I received all my revised financial aid statements from other schools, and it brought the $30,000 to $14,000 in billed expenses, and I got 16,000 additional dollars of grant aid. So like I wish I had someone that like was able to help me through this process, but I kind of had to YouTube my way through it. But be your own advocate, be annoying because ultimately, um, the financial aid office is trying to make a buck off of you. So do your best to get as much money back as possible. Um, and yeah, but then in April, I got another school and they gave me more aid. They said, okay, we looked at your new financial aid information and we see that you have $10,000 in billed expenses, or like we think your family can pay $10,000 to go to university. And I was willing to take that over $30,000. Um, but I was like, okay, like cool. But what can I do with that, right? So I reappealed to Yale because they gave me $14,000. And I was like, okay, obviously like you can't say like, okay, like another institution gave me this much money, please match it, right? Because that they'll say no automatically. You just need to dress up like that phrasing a little bit. So I just said like, hey, another institution that also practices meeting 100% of my family's demonstrated financial aid, financial need, also determined that based on my current financial situation, that I do need more aid, right? So it's like that's kind of what you can say, and that's kind of what's most legible to these universities. If you can say like, um, if you can say like, oh, like I'm not asking you to match this fund. I'm just saying that supposedly you both practice like meeting 100% of our family's like needs, so what's the holdup, like why is there a discrepancy, right? And then they were able to go from 14,000 to $10,000 in financial aid. So that was the build expense for my family, and I am so grateful for that. But I literally would not have had to like if I hadn't been my own advocate, if I hadn't appealed for financial aid and saw a chance to appeal again, my family would have had to pay three times more to for me to attend college. um, and yeah, so like I guess like another takeaway is that these institutions do want you to attend their university. They didn't accept you for no reason. So you do have a lot of power and agency and appealing for financial aid. Ultimately, it's a numbers game, so like they do not like to see that. They like it's called retention factor. So like or the retention rate. My bad. So like if there's X amount of students that are accepted and admitted to a university, but only like 60% of that admitted class like actually attends the university, that doesn't look so great for that university because they're like, wow, like yes, we admitted these people, but 40% didn't want to come here anyways. So universities are going to try to aim to be at around 90% like yield retention or that number, yeah, whatever. So like they want you to attend the university, so you have a lot of power, you have a lot of agency, and asking for more financial aid. So yeah, okay, and we are here for you. So if you like need help like now, like with financial aid, like the application process and anything, like I know just because like this can make I remember like having like a lot of like heated conversations with my like Bella like at the dinner table about like trying to talk about financial aid because like money is like a touchy like subject with families usually, or at least with mine. Like that was like a lot for me to handle like while also applying to college, and there's just like a lot. So yeah, like if you need any of that support, we are always within reach. I'm Tenzin Norbyung again. You can call me or text me at my number or email me, and I'm more than happy to sit with you to figure out anything that you need. If your mentor isn't able to help you with anything in particular, or if you just need someone else to reach out to. Yeah, okay. Okay, scholarships. These are just like a bunch of different places to look at, keywords to look at, and things to have. I'm not going to explain them in depth here, just because we're gonna also like provide a document that has like a here's all the scholarships that you can apply to locally, nationally, and like strategies. But yeah, so like know the keywords to look at like when you're trying to find scholarships for yourself. And then things to have. So like to have two or three essays you can recycle. So things that like speak to your personal character, your involvements, any projects you did, community service, sports, and then 2 to 3 letters of recommendation. It's very much like applying to college again, except just for scholarships. Um, and yeah, if your school uses Naviance, there's usually scholarships posted on there. But yeah, once again, we'll have a document available for that. And this is just like a timeline thing. I looked at it like um in late November, and then I just like applied in December, and then like January through March, I was like in the trenches because I didn't know like how much I'd actually be paying to go to college at that point. So I was applying to 3 scholarships a week. Don't really recommend that. So I applied to 52 scholarships, 32 that were local, 10 state, and 10 national. And yeah, okay. So main takeaways, so have no expectations but be consistent. So the odds might be against you. There might be a lot of people applying for the same things, but that doesn't mean like you shouldn't apply, right? So like keep applying, but just be like just have no expectations of, oh, I'm gonna win this or I'm not gonna win this, right? Just be consistent in saying I'm still gonna apply. I'm gonna apply to these many like per week. And then once you've committed one application, you've usually completed them all because you can just like keep recycling, right? And then be persistent, ask around. So I asked my guidance counselors, I talked to a bunch of local businesses and my local supermarket, which ended up having a scholarship that I won. Just because they asked, right? So like definitely ask around. Because there's usually money like anywhere to be found. Just if you know the right questions to ask. So yeah, be purposeful in how you present yourself. So these businesses or organizations are usually trying to figure out which students to quote unquote invest in. So like bring your best foot forward, show that you have potential for this essentially investment that they're making in your education. Um, so yeah, okay. If you have any questions, you can text me once again, or you can email me. I know there's someone on the call, so I'm just gonna pause this. And once again, the meeting minutes are available. And yeah, all right, let me pause this and then hold on.